All right.
Mary Had a Little Lamb.
That was not Mary Had a Little Lamb. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Shred! Woo! We are your hosts. I'm Lisa Shea Mundt.
I'm Amber Hart.
And today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, ICF. Today, we are going to be talking about the federally provided resources to assist small business entrepreneurs. We know that entering into the government contracting market is hard.
Just entering into a business is hard and expensive.
But especially in
Hiring.
GovCon, don't use your own feelings on business ownership here. But especially in government contracting, there is a slow learning curve. There are barriers to entry, and people that are not used to working B2G sales don't necessarily even know how to start. Now, there's a lot of services out there, like the Pulse of GovCon, that offers consulting for those types of companies. But what's even better is that the federal government has federally funded free resources for the small business entrepreneur. So we are going to be talking about 4 of those federal resources to help you do better in government contracting.
So the first resource that we're going to talk about today is the Minority Business Development Agency, or better known as MBDA.
One of the great things about the Minority Business Development Agency, or the MBDA, is the fact that in the United States, there's over 11 million minority-owned companies, and it totals approximately $1.8 trillion in revenue. And so the MBDA's purpose is to help those organizations get access to capital and help them with contracts. And so there's a lot in there. And when we talk about minority-owned businesses, this, from a government contracting perspective, are a lot of those socioeconomic set-asides. So things like the 8A program, certainly, which we see a lot in our industry.
So with over 75 centers across the United States of programs, initiatives, and different regional specialty centers, they're really able to focus on what is going on in that region, what is the popular kind of economic bring-in for that different state, and helping you really access those different facilities, that capital, and those contracts that are really specific to that region. So it's not just a center where you go in and you say, hey, here's what I want to do. They're really going to help you focus on where you're at, the location that you're at, and then what is really serving as a growth and specialty market in that area.
One of the cool things about the MBDA is that in fiscal year 22, they actually assisted those companies in accessing $1.6 billion in federal, state, and local contracts, including private ones.
And a fun fact is that they are actually the only federal entity that is funded to support minority business enterprises out of Department of Commerce. So they're really the only federal entity that really focuses on driving that type of opportunity for MBEs.
Yeah, so they are an agency.
They are an agency, and they actually just got increased funding based on the latest budget.
We love when agencies get increased funding, because that is not necessarily the case right now in 2024.
No.
Another point is in FY22 that they actually helped these businesses receive over $1.2 billion in capital. And so that encourages these corporations to do better business development, capacity planning, and just general navigation of the landscape.
And as we know, gaining access to capital is actually really difficult for almost anyone, but especially minority businesses. So they've really worked with local and regional banks in finding kind of good loopholes or finding ways to really get that capital going so that they're able to start their businesses a lot more successfully.
I would like to find a financial loophole.
I would like a financial
Nobody
loophole.
gives me financial loopholes.
I could make a
Just
joke
kidding.
about that, but I won't.
This is great. I mean, it's a wonderful organization, and it is definitely a deserving cause.
Absolutely.
Of course, we couldn't talk about federally provided resources for small businesses without bringing up the Small Business Administration.
The SBA.
The SBA. SBA does a lot for small businesses, including certification programs, they do entrepreneurial workshops, and they do lobbying and advocacy efforts. They have a lot of great inter-SBA programming that small businesses can be a part of in order to learn how to small business more effectively.
How to small business.
How to small business.
How to small business.
Make the business small, make it business, truly. That is all we're really aiming to do.
We're all just looking to survive. One of the other really cool tools that SBA offers is the tool Ascent, which they launched back in 2022 along with the White House, Department of Labor, and Treasury. Now, what started out as a platform that provides different journeys supporting every type of women-owned small business across the landscape has really turned into a tool where they can focus on finding capital, doing mentorship and training, and also looking at where to find opportunities. Now, Ascent does have a track that's specifically for government contractors that are women-owned small businesses that is looking to launch into a bigger program where they provide in-house mentorship, different type of tracks and training, and really growing out the 8A program.
One of the other cool programs under the Small Business Administration is SCORE. And SCORE is
SCORE. SCORE.
One of us was a cheerleader and the other was not. I'll let you decide. SCORE is one of those types of resources that has online training, an online library of resources. They have free mentorship and webinars that you can take to just learn how to operate in the small business zone.
SCORE has been around since 1964, supporting over 11 million entrepreneurs with over 10,000 different mentors and trainers that volunteer their time for free. And recently reported, SCORE put out that over 90% of their businesses are still operating today, with over a 50% increase in revenue.
Increase in revenue.
Pretty impressive.
That's what we like to see.
Yeah, I want an increase in revenue.
Well, we try.
We do.
An organization like SCORE needs sponsorship, and so they actually have global sponsors and partnerships with things like Meta, Google, the NFLPA, which is apparently football, Lisa learned about today, and Office Depot. So there's large-scale names that are backing this type of programs, which is what we like to see. Another federally provided program is the VIP, or the Veteran Institute of Procurement. I am not a VIP. I'm what is the opposite of a VIP. No, but it's a great program that is put on by
MVP.
I am the MVP.
You're my
Thank
MVP.
you. That's sweet. Back to what I'm talking about. The Veteran Institute of Procurement is through the SBA in partnership with the state of Maryland in Montgomery County. And it is a wonderful program that was put on to help veteran entrepreneurs figure out and answer the question, why can't the government meet their 3% goaling?
Now 5%.
Now 5%. So VIP was put on in 2009, or that is when it has started, and it has been an insanely popularized program with incredible workshops and training, and it is free for...
Did we mention it's free?
Free. We love free for veteran professionals to attend. Since 2009, VIP has expanded into having 5 different curriculums and over 250 industry professionals who volunteer their time to put on these types of trainings.
Since their inception back in 2010, VIP has assisted their graduates in achieving over $33 billion in federal contract awards. Not to mention, over 38 VIP graduates have been named the fastest growing companies in America.
That's amazing.
It's so impressive.
It's great. I mean, this is one of
It's
those...
a lot over a decade. That's a big accomplishment.
Certainly. And that's what's so amazing about these types of programs, too. If you are a veteran-owned company and you're trying to make your way in government contracting, use those free resources that you have. We love... That's what this is really all about. Federally funded business resources for smalls. They are and should be free.
And gain access to 250 consultants that typically would cost you money.
We know that they're pricey out there, so if you can get in front of them...
We are them.
Yeah, well, you can learn from them and you can leverage what they say to be actionable in this market. And now, of course, we could not be talking about federally provided resources for small businesses without giving a nod to the PTACs, or also known as Apexes.
Apex now.
We love a rebrand.
Except in Virginia.
And also
Virginia PTAC.
OSTABUs, because this is something that small businesses come to us all the time, and because they know about these resources. So these aren't necessarily unknown like maybe the other ones were, but there's definitely good ways and better ways for you to utilize them.
Also understanding what PTACs, or Procurement Technical Assistance Centers, or APEX, which we're not sure what that fully means yet, don't do is actually really critically important as well. Also, understanding what OSTBU offices, or the Office of Small Disadvantaged Business Utilization, is not for as well. Also is good to understand when you're going to them about contract opportunities, when you're looking to understand kind of how to maneuver throughout that agency and what they're there to do. OSTBUs are really there to help advocate for the small businesses and at large in general. They are there to serve as a resource for you, the vendor, but they're not specifically there to help drive contracts directly to you.
And I mean, we see that all the time, right? People will go to the OSTBU and say, "Where's my contract?
Give me money."
And the poor OSTBU directors go, "That's not how this works." They're there to, like you said, help and advocate for if you have issues within some of the agencies that you're working with. So they're your advocate, they are your cheerleaders, and they can help you navigate some of the instances that you might come across, but they are not there to necessarily give you work.
No, nor are they really there to create work for you.
Yes.
But what OSTBUs are there to do is to keep the agency in check on their small business usage and ensuring the rule of two is not only applied, but is followed and followed through if there are responsible vendors out there that can meet those marks. So that's really what they're there for.
And then the P-tax on that same vein.
Apex,
P-tax.
except in Virginia.
You know how you still call Twitter or X Twitter?
We'll never call Twitter X.
That's what I'm saying.
Never will
Some
happen.
things, you're not going to make fetch happen. That's what I feel about Apex versus P-tax. It will always be the P-tax in
Hot
my
take.
heart. But P-tax are there for that technical assistance. Like, that's what they are there for. They're helping you do some bid matching. They can do proposal reviews. They have seminars. They have workshops. They are there to help you and also to connect you to others that can get more deeply into your needs. So, I mean, another great resource that's out there is Govology, which does a lot of webinars, and they partner with the local PTACs and Apexes. We know that the counselors at the PTACs and Apexes will leverage those trainers as people that they will encourage their small businesses to reach out to. It's a network is all I'm getting at here, right? Nobody's doing anything alone.
No, absolutely not. And PTACs are a little bit of a lesser federally agency. They're more federally funded through grants and things like that. But the really cool thing about PTACs is that you'll find either current or retired federal workers or public servants that have served before in there volunteering their time and supporting as well. So they know the system, they understand the people, and they also understand the other side of the table. So that's always a great thing to get to know.
We hope that you've enjoyed those 4 federally funded and free to you resources for the small business community. We brought these up not necessarily because you might not know what they are, but also something that you have to consider is how to best leverage it, how to use them, and also what they're not there for. So hopefully you've been presented with that information and can take that to be more successful in your small business journey.
For free.
For free! Well, that's our show. Thanks so much for joining us on another episode of The Shred. Woo! See you next time.